Well, welcome to Indiana in November. It is the 21st. Not sure when you're seeing this. And guess what? We have snow outside. I just want to cry. So I'm going to make soup. Mom and I actually made this last night. And this is a takeoff of my grandmother. We just used to call it hamburger soup, hamburger vegetable soup. And all she did, and maybe a lot of people did, was ground beef, mixed vegetables, some broth, maybe a bottle of V8, then basic seasoning. That's what I grew up eating. My husband's not the biggest fan of it. We've been making something called a beefy lentil, and I know I've done a video earlier in the year. This soup was phenomenal. Well, we've made it multiple times, and I didn't subject you to it multiple times, but we agreed we were going to make grandma's soup last night, and she kept adding things to it. Well, this turned out phenomenal, and it's kind of a takeoff of the beefy lentil meets our grandmother's, my grandmother's, her mother's hamburger soup. So I've got some celery and some carrots, even though there's vegetables in there. We're going to make just the trio, and we're going to cook that down. I've got tomato sauce. She does not like kidney beans, but she will eat the cannellini beans. So we have that. We used vegetable stock because it's what we had in the pantry. We actually only used 2 hamburger patties. So I'm using the whole pound of ground beef. This way I know my husband will like it better. The mixed vegetables, we threw in a handful of the chopped frozen spinach, tomato paste, and then she didn't have a taco seasoning pack, so we just kind of made one. And there's also a zucchini. I forgot to get it out. So we're just going to we're going to start by cooking down the ground beef, adding the vegetables, getting them soft, and then we'll throw the rest of the soup in the soup pot for tonight. So I've browned all the ground beef, and there's really the fat all rendered down. In fact, I'm not going to add any butter or anything, but if I needed to, I think I would add a tablespoon of butter. That is the 3 ribs of celery, a couple handfuls of baby carrots that I chopped up bite-sized, and an onion. And we're going to get this cooked down. And I'm also going to go ahead and add in, I think I'm going to go ahead and add in the spices because I want them to cook. So we're going to add garlic powder. We're going to add in oregano, or you could use a taco seasoning pack. At this point, I would only put about half of it in because that's really all we're doing. We're just putting, well, I put a lot of oregano, but it's fine. That's the cumin. Chili powder, which I know I added quite a bit more last night, and smoked paprika. And we're just going to let this cook and get those spices all heated up so that they will be bright and have a good flavor to them. So I've got this cooked down some. We're going to add at least 2 to 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. We gave it a really deep, rich flavor, and it was really, really good. I'm going to give this another mix and get it heated up. We added in the tomato sauce, and then we'll add in the vegetable broth. I'll probably put a little bit of broth in there and get the rest of it out. Now you could use any type of stock or broth you want. We just used vegetable last night because that's what we had on the shelf. So that's kind of what I'm going to do to this. Now I'm only adding a little bit. I want to get all of the bits on the bottom of this added into the soup, because that's all that seasoning and everything else is on the bottom. It's not burnt. It's just some of the flavor. The other thing is you can make this as thick as you want it. We made it kind of brothy. I was fine either way. I do like a soup that is a little thicker. So we'll play with this because this is going to cook down for a little while too. Turn it back up and let this go for about 10-15 minutes. Okay, we're going to come back and add, if you did a taco seasoning packet, use whatever you would have left. I'm just adding cumin. Oh, I just added more oregano. Really didn't need more oregano. That's fine. Wanted cumin. Chili powder. And I'm going to add more smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika. I just like the smoky flavor of ours. Now once it all comes up and I've got it all together, I'll taste it again. We added just a little over a tablespoon of sugar to it because it was harsh. So depending on how you like it, it was just very acidic. So we decided to add the sugar and I think a little bit of salt at the very end, and it really changed the way it tasted. But this is going to be a very rich soup because of the tomato paste. Okay, it's been cooking for about 15-20 minutes. I've gone ahead and cut up the zucchini and I've drained the beans, but at this point all I'm going to do is add the mixed vegetables. I did about a half a bag. And I'm going to open up the chopped spinach, and I'm just going to throw in a handful. That's all we did last night. Throw in, I'll do a little bit more. It just literally broke apart. So this has gotten really thick because I just added all that. I'm going to add a little bit more stock. There we go. All right, we're going to put the lid on this and let this cook. Bring all the flavors together. And about 10 more minutes, we'll add in the zucchini and the beans. I don't want the beans to break down. I also don't want to overcook the zucchini so it's mush. So I've got this nice and bubbly. And at this point, I'm going to add in the beans and the zucchini. And like I said, you can make as much or as little, add more seasoning, add less. We're going to get this all mixed up. And I'm going to give it a taste and see if we're going to add in the sugar and the salt like we did last night. Okay. We're going to add in a little bit of salt, not a lot. And we are going to add in about a tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to let it dissolve, start to heat up a little bit more. I'll taste it again and I'll let you know how much I ended up using. I think Mom said she used about 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. And see how thick this is? And that was the entire container of broth. All finished. I did end up doing a tablespoon and a half of sugar and then the salt, couple shakes, just to tone it down a bit. And then I've let it cool. I turned it off pretty quickly after I put the zucchini in. I didn't want the zucchini to overcook or the beans to mash into it. So there we go. We're going to have it with Cheesecake Factory brown bread tonight. Tonight, I'm going to throw together a skillet lasagna. It's already 7 o'clock. This is just going to be my life until after Christmas. So bear with me. So we should be coming up with some quick, easy meals. I'm kind of loosely going off of a recipe, but I'm going to play with it a little bit. So I bought spinach for the soup the other night, so I froze it, but I'm going to do a spinach ricotta. I've got ground beef that I defrosted. I'm going to cook an onion with that, and we're going to add in the Rayo's, which I got a good deal on at Costco. It was $4 off, so I got 2 of them. Only way I buy those. And then I've got beef stock. You could use water. This will just give it a richer flavor. I've got the oven-ready lasagna noodles. We're still putting them in. They'll boil with the sauce and everything and get soft. And then we'll make up the ricotta mixture with the spinach, the ricotta, the cheese, and the parm. And we will put dollops on it. And then we'll throw it all in the oven. So I'm going to do it in my Dutch oven. So that way when it's ready, we can throw it in the oven and melt the cheese. I've got the ground beef in here and I've got it started cooking. We're going to add in the onions. And we're just going to get this all cooked. And then I'm going to have to drain the grease. This, I believe, is a higher fat ground beef than I used last night. All right, I've gone ahead and drained the ground beef. I should have done this off camera. There we go. So we're going to add in this entire thing. It's 28 ounces of spaghetti sauce. I'm going to pour some of this in. This stuff's too good to waste. So I'm just going to get this mixed. And then we're going to break apart the pasta. I'd say add in about a cup. We'll add more if we need more. And I have a box already open. So we'll start on this one. And I'm just going to break them into pieces. So you could use any kind of pasta you want. I want lasagna. So that's what we're going to do. Now I don't want lasagna soup. I actually want a skillet lasagna. So I want to make sure we have enough. So I ended up doing about 8 lasagna noodles. I mean, my theory is this would be half of a lasagna. So, and I've got some liquid in here. It's like I said, I'm just going to carefully go and I'm just going to really watch it, and I'll test my pasta as I go. We're going to get the filling or the ricotta spinach that we're going to put in globs on the top ready. So I've drained my spinach and I now have a spinach ball. I've got my ricotta. So I'm going to pour this out. Nice and soft. We are going to add in, and I didn't get this out, we're going to add in some garlic powder, some oregano or Italian seasoning. Give it a mix. Just gives it some more flavor. Now I have fresh Parmesan that I want to get used up. So we're going to pour some in. And then we are going to break apart the spinach because we want this to be incorporated, not just big pockets of spinach. You can use more or less or whatever you want. I've also put sauteed onion in mine in the past. Just going for quick and easy tonight. Okay, that's all there is to this. And we'll drop that in dollops on top. Okay, I ended up adding an extra ½ cup of the beef stock. So if you do 8 noodles, add 1.5 cups of stock. There, figured it out. Oh, we'll put this here for right now. I've got this. This is our little spinach mixture. Now, of course, I never have anything I want where I want it. So we're just going to take little bombs of this and put this down in here. I don't know, little egg-shaped, doesn't matter. Just put them down. I've also seen this where people pour it out now onto a sheet pan and then put it in the oven. I'm just trying to make this one pot, simple, and we have lasagna. So that's kind of where I'm still going with it. And we like lasagna. I love lasagna. It's always been one of my favorites. And I absolutely love ricotta. My mom always, when she would make lasagna, it's not one of her favorites. When she would make lasagna, she would use cottage cheese. I don't know if it was a thing if you just couldn't get ricotta that easily. I mean, I grew up in Indiana, so anything's possible. Now I'm gonna kind of push it down, those little balls of ricotta. We're gonna push it down. And then we're gonna open up the mozzarella. My oven is preheated to 350. At this point, we can put this over here. And we're just going to put a very generous amount. And I even splurged because I actually could find it. This is the Kraft with a touch of cream cheese. There's some that have the extra melts and that type of stuff, and we can't find them here. I can find them when I go down to South Carolina, but I can't get them here. So when I saw this, I just decided I was gonna grab it. All right, we're gonna put this in the oven, probably another 10 minutes or so. I want the cheese melted. So I just pulled it out and it is ready to eat. I put it in for about 12 to 15, I think it was 12 minutes. And it is nice and hot and bubbly. Thanks for joining me tonight.